Joe Rama never went out for a stroll, nor went to mass on Sundays. Everything that his shop yielded, plus the vegetable stall, went straight to the savings bank, and from there to the bank. So much so that one year, after acquiring the Creole woman, when a few bracas of land located at the back of the tavern went up for public auction, he immediately snapped them up and set about, without wasting time, building 3 little houses with a door and a window. What miracles of cleverness and economy did he not perform in that construction? He served as a bricklayer, mixed and carried clay-broke stones which the rascal after hours, together with his friends, stole from the quarry at the back. In the same way, they subtracted material from the houses under construction that were nearby. These thefts were done with all caution and always crowned with the best success, thanks to the circumstance that at that time the police didn't show themselves much around those parts. Joe Rama observed during the day which work sites had material left for the next day, and at night there he was, close by, Place Bertoleza, removing planks, bricks, tiles, sacks of lime, to the middle of the street, with such skill that not a hint of noise was heard. Then one would take a load and head home, while the other stood guard next to the rest, ready to give a signal in case of danger. And when the one who had gone returned, then the companion would go loaded in turn. Nothing escaped them, not even the bricklayer's ladders, the sawhorses, the workbench, or the carpenter's tools. And the fact is that those 3 little houses, so ingeniously built, were the starting point of the great Snow Rama tenement. Today 4 bracas of land, tomorrow 6, afterwards others more. The shopkeeper went on conquering all the land that stretched behind his store, and, in proportion as he conquered it, the rooms and the number of inhabitants multiplied. Always in his shirt sleeves, without Sundays or holy days, never missing a chance to take possession of what belonged to others, failing to pay whenever he could and never failing to collect, cheating the customers, stealing on weights and measures, booing for 10 rees of strained honey what slaves stole from their masters' houses, tightening his own expenses more and more, piling privation upon privation, working in his friend to like a pair of oxen. Joe Rama finally came to buy a good part of the beautiful quarry, which he, every day, at dusk, sitting for a moment at the shop door, contemplated from afar with a resigned look of covetousness. He put 6 men there breaking stone and another 6 making flagstones and cobblestones, and then began to earn in bulk. So much in bulk that, within a year and a half, he was already buying up all the space between his little houses and the quarry. That is, about 80 bracas deep by 20 front, on a dry and magnificent plain for building. Precisely around that time, a townhouse was also sold that was to the right of the shop, separated from it only by those 20 bracas, so that the entire left flank of the building, some 20-odd meters, emptied its 9 casement windows onto the shopkeeper's land. It was bought by a certain Miranda, a Portuguese wholesale merchant, established on Rua, due with a wholesale fabric store. After a general cleaning of the big house, he would move there with his family, because his wife, Donna Estella, a pretentious lady with airs of nobility, could no longer stand living in the city center, and also his little Gersomirina was growing very pale and needed space to toughen up and gain weight. This is what Miranda told his colleagues. But the true cause of the move was the need, which he recognized as urgent, to remove Donna Estella from the reach of his shop assistants. Donna Estella was a very flighty little woman. She had been married for 13 years, and during that time had given her husband all sorts of grief. Even before the 2nd year of marriage was over, Miranda caught her in the flagrant crime of adultery. He was furious, and his first impulse was to send her to the devil along with the accomplice. But his commercial house was secured with a dowry she had brought, some 80 contos in properties and government bonds, of which the unfortunate man made use, as much as the total regime allowed him. Besides, a sudden break would be a scandalous affair. And, in his opinion, any domestic scandal looked very bad on a merchant of a certain standing. He prized, above all, his social position and trembled at the mere idea of finding himself poor again, without resources and without the courage to start life over. After having become accustomed to a number of privileges and used to the manly pride of a rich Portuguese who no longer had a homeland in Europe, cowed before these reasonings, he contented himself with a simple separation of beds, and the two began to sleep in separate rooms. They did not eat together, and barely exchanged a constrained word or two between them, when any unexpected chance brought them together unwillingly. They hated each other. Each felt for the other a profound contempt, which little by little transformed into complete repugnance. The birth of Zulmira aggravated the situation even more. The poor child, instead of serving as a link between the two unfortunates, was rather a new insulator established between them. Estella loved her less than her maternal instinct demanded, because she supposed her to be the husband's daughter, and he detested her because he was convinced he was not her father. One fine night, however, Miranda, who was a man of quick blood and was then around 35, felt himself in an unbearable state of lubricity. It was already late, and there was no maid in the house who could help him. He thought of his wife, but immediately repelled this idea with scrupulous He continued to hate her. However, this very fact of the obligation he had placed himself under not to use her, the responsibility of despising her, as if it further enraged his carnal desire, making the unfaithful wife a forbidden fruit. Finally, a singular thing, although morally nothing diminished his repugnance for the perjurer. He went to her room. The woman was fast asleep. Miranda entered on tiptoe and approached the bed. He should turn back, he thought. It didn't suit him, that. But his blood pulsed, claiming her. He still hesitated a moment, motionless, contemplating her in his desire.